Welcome to Every Fact Ever. Like and subscribe for more amazing facts. My name's Ian, and this is 50 Facts About Mermaids, written by Divas Dipoli. Fact number 1. The first mermaid or half-human recording was found in ancient Syria in 1000 BC. The recording was of a woman called Articus. Articus was a beautiful and powerful priestess who fell in love with a human shepherd boy who she had a child with. An older Articus then tried to commit suicide by throwing herself into the ocean to drown, but the gods didn't let her die. Instead, the gods changed Articus into a mermaid with the upper body of a woman and the lower body of a fish. Fact number 2. In the Greek mythological tale, the Iliad, Odysseus asked his crew to tie him to the ship's mast to prevent him from being seduced by the mermaids and drowning himself in the sea. These mythological mermaids were not only deadly and vicious, but they also had feathers and could fly. Fact number 3. In the Middle Ages, mermaids were used to symbolise sin and seduction. The medieval church uses mermaids and sirens to teach Christians about sin, salvation, and promiscuity. Fact number 4. The term mermaid literally means woman of the sea. In Old English, the word mer means of the sea, and maid means woman, so combining the words mer and maid resulted in woman of the sea. Fact number 5. There are accounts that Christopher Columbus saw manatees while travelling, which he thought were mermaids. In some reports, he is said to have mistaken the manatee skeleton for a mermaid. At this time, it would have not been uncommon for animals to have been mistaken for legendary sea creatures, because manatees would rise out of the water like mermaids, and then would also perform tail stands. Fact number 6. Cyronomelia is also called mermaid syndrome. It is a rare congenital disorder where a child is born with his or her legs fused together. This condition is about as rare as conjoined twins, affecting 1 out of every 100,000 live births. It is usually fatal, and not many survive for long after birth because of kidney and bladder complications. Fact number 7. The existence of mermaids was never questioned during medieval times, because they were given the same credit as other ocean creatures like whales. This is because there were hundreds of accounts of mermaid sightings, so mermaids were discussed and accepted without question. Fact number 8. Mermaids were often considered to be bad omens. Legends say that if mermaids were spotted by sailors at sea, it usually means that the sailor's voyage was heading for trouble. Generally, to overcome these kinds of superstitions, the captain of the ship would be tied to the mast, and the rest of the crew would stuff their ears with wax to drown out any potential harmful singing from mermaids, or they'd sail in another direction. Fact number 9. Mermaids are often compared to Greek sirens, who are said to possess extraordinary levels of beauty. Mermaids are often portrayed with long wave-like hair, large enticing eyes, and a sparkly bottom half. However, a great deal of literature supports the idea of these depictions of mermaids as somewhat wrong. Mermaids are said to be far more treacherous in nature, and their primary goal is to entice men with their beautiful singing voice. Fact number 10. Mermaids were said to have had supernatural powers. The 4 main powers that are usually attributed to mermaids are immortality, which means they are exempt from death; telepathy, which means they can communicate by sharing thoughts; hypnosis means that they can place another person into a state of consciousness; and their ability to see the future means that they can actually see these events before they happen. Fact number 11. It is believed that aquamarine is made from mermaids' tears, and it is believed that this gem will protect sailors while they are at sea. The aquamarine gemstone is part of the beryl mineral class, and its name literally translates to water of the sea from Latin. Fact number 12. In modern culture, there are 4 types of mermaids. These are the traditional mermaids, silkies, shape-shifting mermaids, and the merfolk. But the 2 most popular merpeople are Ariel from Disney and the more recent Aquaman. Fact number 13. It is believed that Irish shedding mermaids, or silkies, are able to shed their tails in favour of human legs. On the other hand, shape-shifting mermaids are also able to change into the human form and back into mermaid form at any time. Fact number 14. The merfolk mermaids are more human in shape that allow them to live on the land and in the sea. Only traditional mermaids are confined to the ocean and cannot live on land. Fact number 15. A mermaid's kiss is pretty magical. It is said that he who receives a mermaid's kiss will have the ability to breathe underwater, although it's unclear if the receiver of the kiss simply inherits this magical ability or if they sprout gills somewhere on their body. Fact number 16. It is said that a mermaid's tail can change colour based on their mood. It is also believed that a mermaid's tail is unique to every mermaid, and it depicts the mermaid's personality and feelings at any given moment. Fact number 17. Most mermaids are depicted wearing lots of jewellery, Some of their favourite jewellery pieces are shell crowns, pearl necklaces, conch hats, and Kent bracelets. Mermaids are likely to decorate themselves in magnificent, eye-catching jewellery as part of their plot to lure gentlemen away from their ships. Fact number 18. The Babylonian god Onisses predates the Syrian mermaid Articus by several thousand years. Onisses apparently had both a fish body and a human body. His human form was beneath his fish form, which allowed him to live among men as well as in the sea. Fact number 19. In some Pacific Island legends, it is said that human beings are descendant from both mermaids and mermen. It would appear somewhere back in time both mermaids and mermen somehow dropped their tails to walk on land. A good example of this is the creator god Vati, who usually is depicted as being half human and half fish. Fact number 20. Hans Christian Andersen based the mermaids in his tale, The Little Mermaid, on Scandinavian mermaids called the Havfinn. These northern merfolk were able to both live in fresh water and salt water. Fact number 21. Mermaids were originally created for the personification of water deities. Mermaids are celebrated as the bringers of life and fertility. However, they are also considered as a force of great natural power and destruction as well. Fact number 22. It is believed all natural-born mermaids are born with powers and know how to use them, but sea-born mermaids must learn how to use their powers as they do not come naturally. Interestingly, if a mermaid gets sick, their powers get messed up and don't work the way they should. Fact number 23. It is believed that mermaids are more confident than mermen. Mermen were supposedly more shy and secretive than their female counterparts, and nearly all stories suggest that mermen never came to the surface of the ocean. Fact number 24. Merfolk are said to be more beautiful than the average human being. This is because they are said to be voluptuous creatures that are interested in luring men. Myth tells us that mermaids look just like regular humans when they are born, but as they grow up, their transformation takes place and the mermaids become more beautiful with every transitional phase. Fact number 25. Alexander the Great, grief-stricken sister Thessalonite, was turned into a mermaid after his death. According to reports, Alexander the Great washed Thessalonite's hair with water that he retrieved from the Fountain of Mortality. When Alexander died, his sister could not cope and decided to end her own life, but she was turned into a mermaid instead. Fact number 26. Mermaids are believed to be clairvoyants. Aside from being temperamental creatures, mermaids were believed to have had the ability to predict the future. Being able to see the future meant they could predict when a ship would be nearby, and they could also go off to lure sailors. Fact number 27. Famous deities like Triton and Aphrodite from Greek mythology. The Assyrian goddess Astarte and the African deity Mayawata existed in mermaid form. They represented beauty, fertility, and a force of nature, destruction, and the danger of seduction. Fact number 28. The Disney version of The Little Mermaid is a somewhat sanitized version of Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tale, which was first published in 1837. For example, in the original work, the mermaid suffered great pain when she transformed into a land-worthy creature. The description of this event was also far more graphic. Fact number 29. The terrifying mermaids in Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides in 2011 represented a realistic picture of the legendary creatures and their behaviour, which is considerably different to how Ariel is portrayed by Disney. The mermaids lure errant soldiers off their course onto rocky shoals with the intent of drowning them. Fact number 30. One especially feared group of mermen, the Blue Men of Minch, are said to dwell in the Outer Hebrides off the coast of Scotland. Although mermen are not as well known as their female counterparts, they have an equally fierce reputation for summoning storms, sinking ships, and drowning sailors. Fact number 31. Starbucks' original logo featured a two-tailed mermaid. The inspiration for this came from the Greek myth. The myth talks about the time when sirens lured shipwrecked sailors to an island just off the Pacific. The island was called Starbuck Island. Fact number 32. Local law claims that before laying siege to a ship, the Blue Men of Minch often challenged the ship's captain to a rhyming contest. If the captain was quick, witty and agile with his tongue, he could win the contest and thus save his sailors from a watery death. Fact number 33. Japanese legends have also got a version of merfolk called the Kappa. The Kappa is said to reside in Japanese lakes, coasts and rivers. These childlike water spirits appear to be more like animals than humans, with simian faces and tortoise shells on their back. Fact number 34. Kappa mermaids are said to have an appetite for children, so don't go swimming in those open waters alone. Like the Blue Men, Kappas like to toy with their prey before eating them, so they often play little games to see who wins. Obviously, if the prey isn't quick-witted enough, then they'll be eaten. Fact number 35. One story dating back to the 1600s claimed that a mermaid once entered Holland through a dike, which is a barrier to hold back water, but was injured in the process. The mermaid was taken to a nearby lake and soon nursed back to health. She eventually became a productive citizen, learning to speak Dutch, performing household chores, and eventually converted to Catholicism, thus leaving the mermaid life behind. Fact number 36. One of the most famous and credible stories of seeing a mermaid in the flesh comes from Captain John Smith. While sailing off the West Indies coast, he saw a woman with green hair swimming elegantly in the water. Given his title, there was no reason to believe that the captain had made up this story. He would have been an incredibly reliable source at the time. Also, as he made his way around the world, he encountered another famous figure, Pocahontas. Fact number 37. By the 1800s, hoaxers churned out fake mermaids by the dozen to satisfy the public's interest in the creatures. The trend was rife and people believed what they saw on stage, so it was a good way to make a profit for these hoaxers. The great showman P.T. Barnum displayed the Fiji mermaid in the 1840s, and it became one of his most popular attractions. Fact number 38. Although rare, modern mermaid reports still exist. A report circled in 2009 claiming that mermaids had been seen off the coast of Kiryat Yam. The mermaid was said to do a performance for onlookers just before sunset, and then disappeared for the night. Fact number 39. In 2012, an Animal Planet special called Mermaids, The Body Found, renewed interest in mermaids. It presented a story of scientists finding proof of real mermaids in the ocean. Sadly, this was just fiction and made for pure entertainment. Fact number 40. The temple in Fukuoka, Japan is said to house the remnants of a mermaid that was washed ashore in 1222. The mermaid's bones were preserved at the behest of a priest. The priest believed that the creature had come from the palace of the dragon god at the bottom of the ocean. Fact number 41. For nearly 800 years, the mermaid's bones have been displayed in Fukuoka, Japan, and the water used to soak the bones is said to prevent diseases. Only a few of these bones remain, and since they have not been scientifically tested, their true nature remains unknown. Fact number 42. Magical female figures first appeared in cave paintings in the late Paleolithic period, which is the Stone Age, some 30,000 years ago. This was when modern humans gained dominance over the land and presumably began to sail the seas, thus reporting sights of female-like creatures. Fact number 43. Mermaids are not the only half-human creatures to grace us. There are other kinds like chimeras, fire-breathing women with a lion's head, that also come up in mythology. It's really not uncommon to see a human portrayed with an animal body, or several animals even. An example of this would be the centaur, who has the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse. Fact number 44. Guillermo del Toro's 2017 The Shape of Water features a merman. It is about a mute cleaning lady who works in a high-security government laboratory in Baltimore in 1962. She develops a unique bond with a mysterious creature living in a water tank, which is inside the building's secret laboratory. Fact number 45. Chinese mythological tales talk about mermaids as wonderful, skilled and versatile beings whose tears become pearls. Mermaids also found in Romanesque columns showing prominence with Nereids and Harpies. Fact number 46. In Spain, there is a famous legend about Cyrenaica from Cantabria, which is about a mermaid who once had been a human. Cyrenaica's mother got fed up with her daughter not listening about keeping away from the cliff's edge. In the end, the mother screamed, "God grant that you become a fish," which turned her beloved daughter, Cyrenaica, into a mermaid. Fact number 47. In the classic story of Jason and the Argonauts, the Argo ship crew, commanded by Jason, managed to evade the seductive singing of the mermaids and got to freedom just in time. They managed to escape from the bewitching melodies thanks to Orpheus, son of Apollo, who travelled with them. Fact number 48. Contrary to popular belief, not all mermaids have perfect singing voices. Actually, it's only the merfolk who actually sound good. It's thought that they would sing using their powers of persuasion to lure men, not forgetting this was coupled with their exceptional beauty as well. Fact number 49. In 2011, IO9 released an article talking about merphysics. The article explains the physics behind how mermaids would experience the world, with the emphasis on their senses underwater, seeing, hearing, tasting and smelling. One cool fact is that mermaids might not have been able to see the colour red. Why? Because water absorbs the red wavelengths. So for mermaids living near the top of the water, this might not be an issue, as they would have evolved to see red while jumping out of the water. But for those living deep down in the water and rarely surface, they won't have evolved to see the colour red. Fact number 50. According to The Secret World of Mermaids, compiled by Francine Rose, there are 15 species of mermaids. This list includes the ship savers, who are duty bound to save humans lost at sea, weather workers, who can control the wind, moon, waves and tide, and the pearl weepers, who leave the sea in search of truth and shed their tails while on land. And those are just a few examples. And that was 50 facts about mermaids. Thank you for watching, and remember to like and subscribe for more amazing facts. If you still haven't had your fact fix for the day, try watching some of these videos. And as always, if there are any topics you'd like us to cover, please leave a comment down below.